Europe is, of course, set now to fast-track digital payments. It looks like it might be on XRP. We'll break it down for you guys today. My name is Paul Barrow. Welcome back into Tech Path. Get started, and of course, I do want to thank our sponsor. That's Uphold. This is a great place for you guys to get started on your crypto journey. And the cool thing about Uphold is they're going to find the best price for you out there and give you an opportunity to discover a lot of new crypto as it gets listed and available over on Uphold. So just visit uphold.com. You guys can jump into it. It's very easy to set up, and I still think this is maybe one of the slicker apps out there. So pretty simple to use. And if you're brand new to crypto, make sure and use our link down below. It's a great additional offer for you, so check it out. All right, so I want to jump to this first clip, and this is Christine Lagarde of the ECB. And really what this is about is the fact that Europe was, in many cases, moving very, very slow across the idea of a digital euro. She addresses this in this clip. Take a look.
We are waiting for you. I would very much dislike to see myself in this position in a year's time, still arguing that the digital euro is an instrument of our sovereignty.
Trump's support of the dollar-pegged crypto will fast-track the digital euro approval. This is coming in from the ECB. So that could be one of the instigators of being able to kind of kick Europe off into a much faster process here. All right, so I want to go to this Bloomberg article. This is just here recently, February 20th. So the topic, ECB wants to establish a blockchain payment-based system. A couple of points within the article that are very key. As soon as feasible, number one, the central bank wants to develop a blockchain platform that is linked to the existing target settlement system, okay? And then after that, they want a more integrated long-term solution. So that is a huge step in the right direction. So basically what they're trying to do is get the quick fix, be able to move into what will be a blockchain payment system going forward. If you look at the list of stakeholders participating in this, which is their wave one, almost all of these are banks. You'll recognize quite a few of those. A lot of these are international and within the EU in terms of the banks that are interested in being able to move forward on this. So when you look at that, of what they're trying to do in terms of the initiative going forward, the fact that they do want to go faster, then the question is, which blockchain will they choose? What's it going to look like? Well, this European Central Bank and the Bank of Japan was a test that they did. If you look down here on page 7, I'll jump down there to page 7, and they get into this section called Selected Private Sector Initiatives. And within that, Ripple has developed X-Current, which connects to the financial institutions via the global network, and that is where RippleNet starts to play into this. So essentially, it's Ripple that has the plug and the potential lead on being able to participate in the digital euro. And with that being said, you have to look at the Digital Euro Association, which is also partnered with Ripple. Their statement right here was Digital Euro is delighted to announce a partnership with Ripple, supporting partner jointly working on the CBDCs and Ripple. So again, this could be interesting as we start to see this play out. If in fact they are concerned that the United States could be taking the lead on the global scale, and of course you've got Christine Lagarde and the EU looking at that. You look at what's happening on the RLUSD front, and of course you have to look at the acceleration of RLUSD. This was back in early January when it first hit, and it already had started to take and move up the ranks in terms of volume, and that may have been what started to get the attention of the EU and said, hey, we got to get moving on all this. The ECB says no to Bitcoin and yes to XRP and blockchain and banking. So it's clear that they've made their decision on how they're going to go forward on payments and the architecture for what we will see as the digital euro. I want to go to a clip real quick, and this clip is Christine Lagarde talking about maybe why they chose, but more importantly, why they didn't choose Bitcoin. Take a look.
Whether reserves of central bank should or could include bitcoins. I think there is a view around the table of the Governing Council, and most likely the General Council as well, that reserves have to be liquid, that reserves have to be secure, that they should not be plagued by the suspicion of money laundering or other criminal activities. And as a result, I'm confident that bitcoins will not enter the reserves of any of the central banks of the General Council.
So pretty harsh statements there on the Bitcoin community in terms of the ECB coming in from Lagarde. And it appears that XRP meets those demands for them to be involved in this. So very big deal Remember, Ripple named Michael Barr as an advisor. Well, right there, it was a pleasure to meet Michael Barr at the Federal Reserve Vice Chair for supervision in Frankfurt, and of course right there partnered up with the ECB. This is the kind of thing that really starts the ball rolling and has been developing over a very long period of time. Let's go on to another clip real quick, and I want to get into this one because this is where she talks about Ripple really almost replacing the concept of banks in Europe. Take a look.
What kind of threat does this pose to the traditional banking system?
Well, I think you have incumbents, the banks, commercial banks, and you have the disruptors. And clearly the disruptors are having an impact on the incumbents.
The difference will not be between those who are disrupted and those who survive, but it will be between those who are cannibalized because they are not seeing it coming and they're not embracing it. And I'm using cannibalization on purpose because it's a bit of a striking, horrible word. But it's really what it means. It's you're going to disrupt your business model, you're going to change it, you're going to reduce your cost, you're going to expedite your transactions. So that's where I see changes happening now. If you think of Circle and Ripples and all those, that's where they are active and helpful.
All right, so she mentioned Circle, USDC, and Ripple, of course, in all of this. And it's amazing to me to see the transition over time of Europe, and especially with Christine Lagarde, in terms of the legacy finance instruments that are being used in Europe today. And I think she's right, because we're going to see this most likely in the United States as well. I think we're on the very edge of some pretty big things that are going to change and shift the global financial products around the world, and Ripple could be at the center of this. If you look at the Digital Euro Conference, which is coming up right here in Frankfurt, just around the corner in March, and you go over, let's just take a look at their sponsors, and we'll go down to their sponsors page. Right there it is, Ripple, another sponsor. Also, if you look at their agenda, speakers from Ripple also participating in this. It looks as though this is a lock. And if this means payments on Ripple in Europe and CBDC for Europe, the digital euro, this could be a very intriguing time for the rest of the world to maybe jump in. So Larry Fink says, wait a minute, maybe it's time to invest in Europe right now. Take a look.
I believe it's probably time to be investing back into Europe, focusing on it.
President Lagarde, I bet you didn't expect to kick off the panel with a vote of confidence for Europe.
Going to say to Larry that if ever you look for a pro bono job, come and join us in Europe.
All right, so they're chumming it up right there, of course. I think there's some backroom talk, of course, on the discussion between Fink and Lagarde in what this might look like. BlackRock, of course, will be giant in terms of investing in that. If we have a payment architecture that's starting to accelerate, we'll look at all sorts of things that I think will go blockchain-based. So that meaning, could Fink, be in a position where he's really starting to leverage into maybe an XRP ETF, because that could be the next stepping stone for BlackRock going into the next phase. So you can see a lot of global moves right now that are starting to impact the global financial system, and it appears as though Ripple is right in the crosshairs of all of this development, including obviously the XRP ledger, which is going to be an unbelievable opportunity. We've got a lot of news still to come yet on what's going on with XRP. Make sure and stick around if you're not subscribed to the channel. If you are not in the Diamond Circle, get in right now. It's a great place to get additional content. And guess what? We have our own Telegram group. Join that. I'm in there every day chatting it up with you guys. So make sure and click the link down below. Join that. It's absolutely free. And of course, catch me out there on X at Paul Barron. We'll catch you next time right here on TechPath.